Welcome. In Lesson 11, Focusing, we describe the second process in motivational interviewing. I'm your instructor, Nicholas Cohen. We discussed in the previous lesson the first process, motivational interviewing, engaging. We said that engagement, a working relationship, is best achieved by first listening, allowing the other person to voice their concerns, their reasons for the visit, their hopes for what they want to accomplish working with you. They may raise many concerns, priorities for the visit, and goals that are unrelated to behavior change. By addressing their concerns, potentially unrelated to behavior change, we establish a working relationship and lay the foundation to address behavior change. On the other hand, you may have a very specific role, like a tobacco cessation counselor, in which case you may not be able to address topics other than a specific behavior. In any case, however broad your scope, beginning with an open question like what brings you in today and what are you hoping we can accomplish working together, and listening with reflections is a good way to begin. When the opportunity arises to discuss behavior change, you are in the focusing process. You may reach the topic of behavior change because the person raises it themselves. Often you'll arrive at a focus for behavior change just by exploring the person's priorities. But there are also times when you perceive a change that would benefit the person, but they don't raise the topic themselves. You may see behavior change as a priority, but the person hasn't mentioned it at all. What do you do in this situation? If the person hasn't raised it, then it's useful to offer a summary of what they've said, then ask permission to discuss the topic. This is called the Transitional Summary. Asking permission is a respectful way to guide the conversation. Almost always the person will grant permission to discuss the issue, and asking permission conveys a partnership approach. So after the summary, you ask permission to raise the topic. You might say, would it be okay if we talked about your donuts? Once I have Homer's permission, my intent is to understand his perspective. How do donuts affect him? It is easy to ask closed questions to quantify the extent of the problem. How many donuts do you eat? How often do you eat them? What kind of donuts do you eat? But this is unlikely to lead the person, Homer, to explore the topic deeply. Often, I find it helpful in understanding the person's perspective to ask them about what they like about the status quo. The assumption that Homer might have is that I only want to hear what he doesn't like about donuts, and I only want him to express a desire to stop eating them. So I may start with, what do you like about eating donuts? An open question I'll follow with at least 2 reflections. This conveys that I'm interested in understanding him, not interested primarily in getting him to change. Then I may ask, what do you not like about eating donuts? Another open question I'll follow with at least 2 reflections. Then I'll offer a summary of what he said that emphasizes how he feels, both positively and negatively, about eating donuts. You've completed the focusing process when the person has explored their perspective on a potential target for behavior change. In the next lesson, we'll describe the next step in the conversation, the evoking process.